Me, 44, structural engineer at commercial architecture firm, making $165,000. Been here 12 years, designing safe buildings. Firm called Morrison Architecture Group, mid-size practice. Office buildings, parking structures, mixed-use developments. Current project, 7-story parking garage in downtown district. Part of $180 million mixed-use development, critical anchor project. Developer invested $68 million just in parking structure. 700-space garage, ground floor retail, structural concrete. September 2023, firm hires new lead architect named Amanda. Age 38, came from boutique design firm, award-winning aesthetics. First project meeting, she presents her vision. Architecture should prioritize design experience over engineering constraints. Too often engineers limit creative vision with excessive caution. I'm sitting there thinking, engineers prevent buildings from falling. Engineering constraints exist because physics exists. About to watch parking garage collapse during construction because lead architect thought gravity was negotiable. Let me show you exactly how ignoring structural warnings killed the project. September 2023, parking garage project before Amanda. Project in design development phase. I'm lead structural engineer, designing load-bearing systems. Report to firm's senior partners, work with architects. Previous lead architect was guy named Richard, age 51. He understood how structures work. We'd collaborate. He'd design spaces, I'd engineer structure. He'd propose ideas, I'd verify feasibility. If I said, that won't work structurally, he'd redesign. That's normal architect-engineer relationship. Parking garage is challenging project. Site has difficult soil conditions. Filled land, former industrial area, contaminated soil removed. New fill is compacted, but not ideal bearing capacity. Geotechnical report shows soil can handle 3,000 psf. Pounds per square foot, standard bearing capacity measurement. My foundation design uses spread footings. Large concrete pads distributing building weight over soil. Size based on 3,000 psf with safety factor. 7-story structure, total dead load 42,000 tons. Plus live load from parked cars, people, equipment. Foundation design is conservative, plenty of margin. Richard's architecture worked within these constraints. Column spacing matched foundation grid. Floor layouts optimized for structural efficiency. Everything engineered properly, safe, buildable. Then Richard retired. Amanda hired to replace him. October 2023, Amanda takes over project. Reviews design, doesn't like the aesthetics. Column spacing is too regular, creates boring rhythm. Foundation grid is too visible in design language. I explain, columns are where they need to be structurally. Foundation grid is based on soil bearing capacity. Can't move them without re-engineering entire structure. Amanda, that's exactly the kind of constraint thinking that limits architectural expression. She proposes new column layout. Fewer columns, irregular spacing, more dynamic composition. I run calculations. This doesn't work. Fewer columns mean higher loads per column. Higher loads need bigger footings. Bigger footings exceed soil bearing capacity. I present this in project meeting. Proposed column layout requires footings that exceed soil capacity. Either need more columns or deeper foundation system. Deeper foundation means piles, adds $4 million to budget. Amanda dismisses this. Soil reports are overly conservative. We can use higher bearing pressure. I explain. Geotechnical engineers specified 3,000 psf. That's based on actual soil testing. We can't just ignore their recommendations. Amanda, engineers always pad their numbers. Build in excessive safety factors. We can work with less margin. Project manager, guy named Tom, age 48, backs me up. Structural engineer is right. We need to follow geotech report. Soil bearing capacity isn't negotiable. Amanda gets defensive. I've designed award-winning buildings. I understand structural systems. I respond carefully. You understand architecture. I'm a licensed structural engineer. This is my expertise. Soil can't support your proposed layout safely. Amanda, safely according to your conservative interpretation. Meeting ends with no resolution. Amanda says she'll get second opinion. November 2023, Amanda hires consulting structural engineer. Guy named Derek, age 42, from smaller firm. She asks him to validate her column layout. Derek reviews my calculations, agrees with me. Original engineer is correct. Proposed layout exceeds soil bearing capacity. Need either more columns or pile foundation. Amanda, unhappy with this answer, asks Derek if there are alternative approaches. Derek suggests, could use soil improvement, grout injection to increase bearing capacity. Costs about $2 million, saves $2 million versus piles. This is technically feasible but risky. Grout injection is unpredictable in filled land. Effectiveness varies, hard to verify. I recommend against it. Too much uncertainty. Pile foundation is proven, reliable. Worth the extra cost for safety margin. Amanda seizes on Derek's suggestion. See, there are creative solutions. Not just conservative pile foundation. She directs project to use soil improvement. I object formally in writing. Email to Amanda, project manager, firm partners. Soil improvement in filled land is high-risk approach. Recommend pile foundation for safety and reliability. If soil improvement is selected, recommend extensive testing. Amanda responds, objection noted. Project will proceed with soil improvement. Your concerns are overly cautious. December 2023, foundation construction begins. Contractor performs grout injection. Pumps cement grout into soil to improve bearing. Testing shows improvement, but inconsistent. Some areas reach 4,000 PSF, some only 3,200 PSF. Average is 3,600 PSF, below the 4,500 PSF needed. I flagged this immediately. Testing shows inadequate improvement. Need additional grouting or switch to piles. Amanda, average is 20% improvement. That's sufficient. I explained, average doesn't matter, weak spots matter. Foundation will settle unevenly. Could cause cracking, structural distress. Amanda overrules. Proceed with construction. I sent another email documenting objection. CC firm partners, developer, contractor. Foundation bearing capacity remains inadequate. Proceeding creates unacceptable risk. Strongly recommend stopping work until resolved. Firm senior partner, guy named William, age 62. He calls me into office. Amanda is lead architect. She has authority. You've documented your concerns. If she chooses to proceed, that's her decision. I ask, what about our liability? William, we have insurance. That's what it's for. Sometimes engineers are too conservative. Maybe Amanda is right about the margins. I realize firm is backing Amanda over me because she's bringing in new design work. Her award-winning reputation attracts clients. My safety concerns are bad for business. January 2024, structural construction begins. Concrete columns poured on spread footings. First 2 floors constructed without apparent issues. I'm monitoring closely, looking for settlement. Some minor cracking in footings within tolerance. But I'm worried about cumulative loading. As more floors are added, loads increase. Foundation might handle 2 floors but fail at 7. 3rd floor starts. Column spacing is irregular per Amanda's design. Some columns carrying much higher loads than others. Corner columns particularly stressed. I calculate actual loads versus capacity. 3 columns are at 95% of foundation capacity, with 4 more floors to add above them. Send another warning email. Corner columns exceeding safe foundation loads. Risk of settlement or failure increases with each floor. Recommend construction halt for foundation review. Amanda responds, construction is on schedule. Concerns are noted, but not warranted by actual performance. No signs of distress, proceeding as planned. February 2024, fourth floor construction. I'm on site every day now, watching for problems. Measuring settlement with survey equipment. Corner column A1 settling faster than others. 2.5 inches of settlement, concerning amount. Adjacent column 2 settling 1.8 inches. Differential settlement creating stress. I document this. Sent to Amanda with photos. Uneven settlement confirms foundation inadequacy. Recommend immediate halt to assess structural integrity. Amanda brings in Derek, her consulting engineer. He reviews settlement data. His opinion, settlement within acceptable range. 2.5 inches is not unusual for this soil type. I disagree. It's not total settlement, it's differential. Uneven settlement creates structural stress. Derek, structure has capacity to handle this. Amanda sides with Derek. Second opinion confirms safety. Construction continues. I realize I'm being marginalized. Firm chose Amanda's vision over my engineering judgment. I'm being painted as overly cautious engineer who doesn't understand real-world construction. Late February, fifth floor construction begins. Settlement is accelerating at corner columns. A1 now at 3.8 inches, A2 at 2.9 inches. Cracks appearing in lower floor columns. Not just shrinkage cracks, these are structural. I photograph everything, document thoroughly. Send email to everyone. Firm, developer, contractor. Structural distress evident in lower floors. Cracking indicates overstressed columns. Foundation settlement exceeding safe limits. Immediate halt to construction required. Amanda responds with her own email. Structural engineer is being alarmist. Cracks are normal shrinkage, not structural concern. Construction proceeding as planned. Developer sides with Amanda. They're $42 million into $68 million budget. Can't afford delays or foundation redesign. Project manager tells me privately. Developer wants project finished. Can't stop now without major financial impact. I respond, can't continue without major safety risk. He shrugs, that's above my pay grade. March 3rd, 2024, sixth floor concrete pour scheduled. I'm on site, watching the corner columns. Settlement is now 2 inches at A1. You can see it visually, column is sinking. Floor above is slightly tilted. This is emergency situation. I approach site superintendent. You need to stop this pour, foundation is failing. He shows me. Got authorization from architect. We're proceeding per schedule. I call Amanda directly. Corner column showing critical settlement. Pouring sixth floor will add 800 tons to failing foundation. This is dangerous. Stop the pour. Amanda, you've been saying this for 4 months. Nothing has collapsed. Nothing will collapse. Pour is happening today. I make final decision. I call city building inspector. Report structural safety concern. Inspector says he'll come out tomorrow. But pour is happening today. I stay on site, watching. Concrete trucks arrive. Pumping begins. Sixth floor slab is large pour for 100 cubic yards. Takes 6 hours to complete. I'm watching corner columns through binoculars. Looking for any signs of movement. 3 hours in a pour, I see it. Column A1 moves just slightly, settling under the load. Cracks spreading up the column. I run towards superintendent. Stop the pour. Column is moving. He looks at me. What? Then we hear it. Cracking sound like gunshot. Column A1 fractures. Concrete spalling off. Rebar exposed. Everything happens fast. Sixth floor slab, still wet concrete. Begins to sag at corner. Column can't support the load. Slab tilts, concrete flowing. Workers running, shouting. Corner section drops 18 inches. Slab hanging from rebar. Then rebar tears. Corner section falls. Crashes on a fifth floor. Fifth floor cracks under impact. Domino effect starting. Workers scrambling downstairs. Construction elevator operator gets people out. More cracking, more falling concrete. Corner bay collapses through 5 floors. Cascading failure. Exactly what I predicted. Stops at 3rd floor. That structure holds. But corner is gone. 40-foot section collapsed. Dust everywhere. Alarms blaring. Emergency crews arrive within minutes. March 3rd, for 30 p.m., aftermath. Collapse contained to corner bay. 3 workers injured, all hospitalized. 1 broken leg, 1 crushed hand, 1 head injury. Non-fatal but serious injuries. Could have been much worse if full collapse. Could have killed dozens if timing different. Site shut down immediately. City building department red tags entire structure. Unsafe, do not enter. Start documenting everything. I provide all my emails, all my warnings. 4 months of documented objections. Every warning I sent, every concern I raised. All ignored by Amanda, all overruled. OSHA investigator reads through timeline. You documented this extensively. Predicted this exact failure mode. Why didn't they listen? I don't have good answer. Just, lead architect had final authority. March 4th, structural engineering firm hired for investigation. Independent firm. No connection to project. They examine collapsed structure. Review foundation design, soil conditions, loads. Their report. Failure was predictable and predicted. Foundation inadequate for imposed loads. Structural engineers' warnings were correct. Collapse was direct result of ignoring those warnings. March 6th, Amanda fire by firm. Morrison Architecture terminates her immediately. She posts on LinkedIn, sometimes innovative design. Challenges conservative engineering establishment. Post stays up for 2 hours before her attorney makes her delete it. March 8th, criminal investigation begins. District attorney reviewing for criminal negligence. 3 workers injured, public safety endangered. Prosecutor interviews me for 4 hours. I provide all documentation. They ask, did architect understand the risk? I show them emails where I explained exactly what would happen. Prosecutor, she ignored expert warnings. That's criminal negligence. March 15th, State Licensing Board opens investigation. Amanda's professional architect license under review. Board interviews me, Derek the consulting engineer. Reviews all project documentation. Board chair, architect age 67, is appalled. She overruled licensed structural engineer on structural safety matter. This is beyond incompetence. This is reckless. April 2024, developer files bankruptcy. $42 million invested in failed structure, plus $26 million in remaining construction costs. Project is total loss. Can't salvage collapsed building. Demolition costs $8 million just to remove debris. Bank forecloses on property. Entire $180 million mixed-use development canceled. 200 planned apartments never built. Ground floor retail never opens. Downtown revitalization plan dead. May 2024, licensing board revokes Amanda's license. Gross negligence in professional practice. Endangered public safety. Ignored expert structural engineering advice. License revoked permanently, no reinstatement. Amanda can never work as licensed architect again. Career is over at age 38. June 2024, criminal charges filed. 3 counts of reckless endangerment. 3 counts of criminal negligence. 1 count of fraud, lying to building inspector. Faces up to 7 years if convicted. July 2024, civil lawsuits begin. 3 injured workers sue Amanda, firm, developer. Seeking damages for medical costs, lost wages, pain. Developer sues Amanda for project failure. Seeking $68 million in losses. Firm sues Amanda for damage to reputation. Firm's insurance company sues to deny coverage. Intentional disregard of engineering advice voids policy. August 2024, I testify in preliminary hearing. Prosecutor presents my emails as evidence. Timeline of warnings, predictions of failure. Judge reads through them. Mr. Narrator, you warned repeatedly. about this exact failure mode. In your professional opinion, was collapse preventable? Completely preventable, Your Honor. If architect had followed structural engineering recommendations, either pile foundation or additional columns, building would be standing safely today. Judge binds Amanda over for trial. Sufficient evidence of criminal negligence. September 2024, Amanda's attorney negotiates plea deal. Pleads guilty to 3 counts reckless endangerment. Prosecution drops other charges. Sentencing: 18 months county jail, 5 years probation. $150,000 fine. Restitution to injured workers. Banned from construction industry permanently. October 2024, I'm rebuilding my career. Left Morrison Architecture after collapse. Firm's reputation damaged, losing clients. Took position as chief structural engineer. Different firm, better culture, $185,000 salary. Respect for engineering judgment. When I say something's unsafe, they listen. November 2024, civil settlements finalized. Injured workers settle for undisclosed amounts. Probably $2 to $3 million total from insurance. Developer's lawsuit against Amanda. She has no assets. Judgment is worthless. Developer recovers from firm's insurance. $35 million settlement. Firm's rates skyrocket. Firm lays off 40% of staff. Can't afford insurance premiums. December 2024. Site is demolished. Collapsed structure removed. Empty lot remains. Fenced off. No development planned. Area remains blighted. What should have been catalyst for revitalization became symbol of failure. Locals call it Amanda's folly. January 2025, Amanda reports to jail. 18 months in county facility. Professional career destroyed. Architecture license gone forever. Facing $150,000 fine she can't pay. Civil judgments she can never satisfy. At age 39, starting over with criminal record. February 2025, I speak at engineering conference. Lessons from the city, parking garage collapse. Room is packed, 400 engineers attending. I walk through timeline. Show the warnings I sent. Show how they were ignored. Show the collapse photos. Audience is silent. Many taking notes. Q&A session. Young engineer asks, how do you handle architect who won't listen? I answer honestly. Document everything. Email every concern with technical justification. If ignored, escalate to building official. Your professional license requires you to protect public safety, even if it costs you the job. Another engineer asks, do you regret staying on project? I think about this carefully. I regret not pushing harder. I should have called building inspector sooner. Should have gone public before collapse. But I documented everything. When it collapsed, evidence was clear. That's why she's in jail, not me. Now it's today, March 2025. 18 months since project started. 12 months since collapse. I'm chief structural engineer, leading team at firm that respects engineering. Amanda is in county jail. 6 months into 18-month sentence. Her LinkedIn deleted. Her architecture career gone. Her freedom gone. All because she ignored structural warnings. All because she thought engineering was negotiable. All because she believed design vision mattered more than physics. 3 workers hospitalized. $68 million project destroyed. Downtown development canceled. All preventable. All predicted. All documented. That's what happens when architect ignores engineer. When aesthetics override safety. When design vision trumps structural reality. Gravity doesn't care about your vision. Soil doesn't care about your aesthetics. Physics doesn't negotiate. And when you ignore the expert, who's trying to keep people safe, buildings fall. People get hurt. Careers end. And you go to jail for 18 months with permanent criminal record. Thinking about the corner column, that settled 4.2 inches before it finally gave up and fell.